It is Friday morning, March the 21st, 2003. Welcome to a special edition of Today, Target Iraq. Those are American troops rumbling through southern Iraq, on the sandy road to Baghdad. Estimates are that they will be in the capital city within the next 3 to 4 days. The U.S. military has been pursuing Operation Iraqi Freedom in western and northern Iraq as well. I'm Katie Couric in New York. It is 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific. Matt Lauer joins us this morning from Doha, Qatar, whereas it is 6 p.m. Matt, I guess I should be saying good evening to you.
That's right. Sun has gone down here, Katie, and nighttime is a bit of a tension-filled time here in the Gulf, as you might imagine. Of course, this is the home of the U.S. Central Command. The military leaders who are running the daily operations of this war are located just about 10 miles, somewhat over my shoulder, a very busy place right now. Let's get to the latest. The U.S. and Britain are mourning the first casualties of the conflict. 1 Marine has been shot. 4 Americans and 8 British soldiers were killed when their chopper crashed, returning from a mission in Iraq. U.S. warplanes struck Republican Guard units in the northern city of Kirkuk, and U.S. troops have taken control of 2 key airfields in western Iraq. It is now early evening in Baghdad. We understand it's quiet there right now, but this morning, B-52 bombers took off from an airfield in England. It is expected, Katie, that they are headed toward Baghdad, and they could reach there very shortly. Katie, back to you.
Matt, thanks. We're going to check in with our correspondents all around the world, but let's first get the latest from the Pentagon and NBC's Jim Miklaszewski. Mick, good morning.
Good morning, Katie.
Tell us what the latest is from your view.
Well, according to Pentagon officials, if you take a big, wide look across all of Iraq, they'll tell you things are going almost to perfection everywhere they are. Where they expected some stiff pockets of opposition, they're getting it in places like Basra in the south. Some of the fighting continues there. They swept through and seized Al-Faw Peninsula in the south much faster than they expected. That's key because it's a port city there and will be absolutely critical to humanitarian efforts once the fighting stops. The Ramallah oil fields. It was feared, as you know, Katie, that the Iraqis would set them ablaze. As of this morning, they think there are only about 7 wells on fire. And while troops did sweep through there, and that was where 1 U.S. Marine lieutenant was shot to death in a firefight with some Iraqis, they think, while they may not have total control of the oil fields, that it really doesn't present a problem. Matt talked a minute ago about 2 airstrips out west in a remote part of Iraq, H2 and H3 they're called, one almost on the border of Jordan. But we're also told that there's another airstrip that's been seized at a place called Mudashis, which is much closer to Baghdad, and that there's another airstrip even closer to Baghdad already within sights of U.S. troops. In the north, some airfields are available to U.S. troops, but I got to tell you, Katie, there is so little threat, apparently, from Iraqi troops in the north that right now the U.S. military campaign isn't paying much attention, other than dropping a few bombs on key Republican Guard headquarters around Mosul and Kirkuk. Katie?
So no more resistance in Basra because there were still pockets of resistance this morning, Mick.
Oh, yes, there is. As I mentioned, they expected it, too. So there is resistance in the places that they absolutely expected it. Maybe not as intense or stiff resistance as they originally thought.
And what about Baghdad and Tikrit, Saddam Hussein's hometown? Are they preparing for the worst in those areas?
Absolutely. Nobody has any illusions. As well as the initial ground operations are going in Iraq itself, nobody has any illusions that Baghdad's going to be easy. The only thing that gives them any encouragement at all is there's a sense that there really is no central command and control for the entire Iraqi military. Part of this, apparently, because much of their communications are cut off, but it also raises some interesting questions about what the Iraqi military leadership is doing. Somebody we were talking to this morning pointed out with great interest and questions as to why the defense quarters in Baghdad hasn't been hit yet. It's always a possibility, but you know, we revealed yesterday that there are some secret surrender talks underway with key members of the Iraqi military, even some of the special Republican Guards. Nobody thinks those are going to go anywhere quickly, and it may take another significant bombing, more than we've ever seen so far, of Baghdad to get the point across. Give up when you can.
Or maybe there's some people in the defense area helping already.
That could be. They've been talking to some people inside Baghdad for quite some time.
Okay, Nick at the Pentagon, Jim Miklashevsky, thanks as always. And now let's go back to Qatar and Matt.
All right, Katie, thank you very much. We're going to check in with our correspondents around the region now, and some of those correspondents who are embedded with troops. David Bloom has been giving us dramatic pictures all morning long. He's with the 3rd Infantry Division, the first troops to cross the Iraqi border and move north some 20 hours ago. David, good morning to you again, and I know that darkness is about to hit your area, but that shouldn't pose a problem based on the technology of the U.S. forces. Is that right?
No, it doesn't pose a problem, Matt. We're traveling with the U.S. Army's 3rd Infantry Division with the 315 Infantry of the 2nd Brigade. We've been rumbling along all day, but they've just done a fuel stop here a short time ago. Now they've moved up to wait for the rest of the convoy. If my photographer Craig White can pan back there, you can see the long stretch of vehicles behind us. Literally thousands and thousands of vehicles in this convoy. Now, I want to make this caveat, Matt, and I've mentioned this before, that our camera can go a little bit haywire when we're not rumbling along, so bear with us. But this force is what they call the Iron Fist. It's the most heavily armored rapid deployment force in the world. And since they left since they left Kuwait around 8 o'clock last night, we crossed into Iraq about 10 p.m. They've been going ever since. They stopped to take out 2 observation posts that the Iraqis had, hit them very hard, try to keep their route a secret so that they could not relay messages back to Baghdad. But since then, we've linked up with the rest of the convoy, and now these thousands of vehicles, 250 tanks, hundreds of Bradley fighting vehicles are all heading north toward Baghdad. Matt?
David, one of the last times we talked to, and I apologize for not remembering which it was, but it was about an hour and a half ago, you were actually showing us a camera shot of some of the Bradley fighting vehicles that had broken down along the route. How much of a problem has that been during this move north?
So far, it's, I think, about what they expected. They knew that they were going over very rugged terrain, and if Craig can pan off in front of us here to where we go beyond this point, you can see what we're looking at. There's no roads out here. It's just open desert in southern Iraq, and basically they just follow a trail and head off into the desert. The trail has been marked. They're calling it Route Hurricane because obviously they like to think of themselves as a hurricane-like force whipping its way through the desert toward Baghdad. But basically they're bumping along. And as we told you before, Matt, parts of these areas have been areas where there were previous combats in the First Persian Gulf War, what these soldiers here call Gulf One. They're calling this Gulf Two. But in the First Persian Gulf War, so we've seen blown out Iraqi tanks, armored personnel carriers, but also unexploded ordnance from American warplanes, cluster bombs, other type of explosives that they've had to be very careful about to avoid, obviously, very dangerous terrain as we're rumbling along here. Matt?
Okay, David, I want to ask you a little bit about the emotional side of this. Obviously, as the units you were with were poised at the border, tensions were high. They then crossed the border, and because you've met little resistance, the confidence level had to soar. But they all have to realize that sometime in the not-too-distant future, they're going to come in contact with the more forceful Republican Guard troops. So is it safe to say that tension begins to build again in the coming hours or days?
Yeah, certainly in the coming days as we move up closer toward Baghdad. And you're right, Matt, because, I mean, really, they've only had the lightest of opposition thus far. But remember, this is the only tank brigade, American tank brigade, in the Persian Gulf region, which means that it's their task to take on, confront, and they certainly hope, wipe out, if they don't surrender, those Iraqi tank brigades of the Republican Guard. Because essentially what they understand is that there are these two rings around Baghdad, one with the Republican Guard south of Baghdad and to the north of Baghdad, and then also the Special Republican Guard right in the environs of Baghdad. But those heavy tank brigades that the Iraqis have are in the Republican Guard, both south of Baghdad and north of Baghdad, and clearly one task of a tank brigade is to go at other tank brigades.
Right, but we should talk about capabilities of these opposing brigades, and from what I've heard you say in the past, the M1 Abrams tank has a range. It can take out a tank about over 2 miles away. The Republican Guard tanks don't have that capability, or at least a shorter range. Is that right? So the advantage clearly goes to the U.S.
Absolutely, because even the most sophisticated Iraqi tank, which is the T-72, which is a Soviet-made tank, is outranged dramatically, not only in terms of range, but also in terms of firepower and armor by the American M1A1 Abrams tank. So that certainly gives the Americans the advantage, and I think I mentioned this to you before. That goes back to the old NATO-Soviet doctrine. The NATO forces, obviously the American tanks, wanted to be able to outrange the Soviet tanks. The Iraqis have the older Soviet tanks. Most of them are the older fleet, poorly equipped, very poor in terms of maintenance, a lot of them. Their most sophisticated tank, again, is the T-72, and even their best tank cannot compare to the American tank. Again, the camera's going a little bit haywire right now. Bear with us. It works better when we're bouncing along, but I know that you understand that.
Yeah, David, we completely understand. Again, great job. We certainly appreciate it. We have some developments here that we want to bring to our viewers. For the last day or so, we've been talking about the 101st Airborne Division poised at the border between Kuwait and Iraq. They had not been committed. They had not committed to move in any direction. Dana Lewis is with the 101st Airborne, and we understand they are now on the move. Dana, can you hear me?
I can indeed, Matt. The 101st Airborne Division of close to 20,000 soldiers is split up into 3 brigades, and we understand that the 3rd Brigade is on the move today. They are probably just crossing the border as we speak. They will move up into Iraq. We can't tell you where, but we understand that essentially they are laying down a carpet for the other brigades, and that includes Apache attack helicopters, in the sense that they'll set up some forward operating positions so that the Apache attack helicopters can come forward and the other brigades can move in and have food and fuel and water, and then once they're in Iraq, they'll begin to start to jump off and do missions, including probably attacking the city of Baghdad. And I think that in the end that you won't see the mechanized infantry take Baghdad, or you won't see just the 101st take Baghdad. You'll see them suddenly marry up outside that city, because they need each other if they're going to get into urban assault warfare, and they will work together on that very large target. Also, Matt, you know, we were talking earlier when I heard you were talking to Don Teague, Katie was, and he was talking about these missiles that have been still coming into Kuwait. We spoke with the intelligence officer here today. He says the problem is that they are on mobile launchers in the south, hard to find, hard to get to, and they're hoping that the mechanized infantry will do just that, roll over them in the next couple of days. Back to you.
All right, Dana Lewis with the 101st Airborne I guess, along the Kuwaiti-Iraqi border. Dana, thank you very much. Let's go now to the Persian Gulf and the USS Constellation. That's a carrier where our own Ann Curry is aboard the carrier. Ann, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Matt. But here in the Persian Gulf, as you can see behind me, night is falling, and we are told that Iraq should expect the airstrikes from U.S. ships in the Persian Gulf to continue tonight. The airstrikes are so far one reason why the U.S. ground troops, as you've been hearing from Dana and from David, have been advancing so rapidly. The strikes are being used to prepare the battlefield. In other words, to bomb sites that may pose any danger, including Iraqi forces, so that U.S. ground forces will be safe as they advance on sites that they're going towards in Iraq. The significant airstrikes last night came from hundreds of combat sorties and Tomahawk cruise missiles launched from destroyers and submarines in the Gulf and the Red Sea. Also, we've got this news today. The admiral aboard the USS Constellation says the oil fields that were lit up at Basra, about those, the U.S. battle carrier group, Persian Gulf, were involved in preventing some environmental disasters, he said. Admiral Barry Costello called it a naval success, the likes of which he has never seen before in his... that he was not yet to... ship... feeling here is that this...
Clearly, we're having some transmission problems with Ann from aboard the U.S. Constellation. She was talking about the oil fires. We had estimates of some 40 oil facilities on fire, but keeping in mind there are some 1,500 facilities throughout Iraq, you could say that the U.S. military has had great success so far in keeping the number that low. Let's go back up to New York now, and Katie.
All right, Matt, thank you so much. Now for the latest coming from the White House, let's go to NBC's David Gregory. David, good morning.
Good morning, Katie.
I understand that the president is meeting or briefing congressional leaders as we speak.
Well, he is. He's doing that this hour, and he will speak publicly for the first and perhaps the only time today, also this hour. This is a bipartisan group They come on a weekly basis, but this is going to be a special meeting, particularly for a war briefing, though officials say the president also wants to discuss other domestic matters like the budget that are certainly important. But primarily, these leaders will get a war briefing. You've seen Republicans and Democrats now coming together once the war has started, rallying behind the president, and they will get their briefing today. There's another point. There's some level of concern, you could say, within the White House, Katie, that a lot of the images that are being broadcast, say, of the ground campaign so far, and even a general sense that's shared here of how well the campaign is going so far, there is still an important caveat, officials say, that this could still be a very dangerous campaign. Ari Fleischer saying that pointedly to reporters this morning, saying, quote, this still could be a long, lengthy, dangerous engagement. Even as things are going so well so far, it's as all those troops get much closer to Baghdad that there is a lot more concern. Katie?
Clearly. So, and you mentioned that the budget debate going on Capitol Hill today, lots of discussions about the president's tax cuts. Will he be able to focus on that much? Because clearly it's extremely important to his domestic agenda.
Well, he's certainly going to try, but there's certainly a lot of resistance, particularly among Democrats who say, particularly with war now upon us, those tax cuts are not realistic and they're not the right thing for the economy. Having said that, as Secretary of Defense Rumsfeld was at the White House earlier today for a national security meeting, and you'll see him departing there. In the next couple of days, we fully expect that the White House will send to Capitol Hill an emergency supplemental request for the Pentagon. The estimates have been wide-ranging. They could ask for anything from $60 to $100 billion. But there's a lot of money that's going to be required to pay for not only the war, but the aftermath in Iraq. And that's going to be a key part of the debate going forward as the attention returns to the U.S. economy, Katie.
All right, David Gregory at the White House. David, thank you so much. Meanwhile, let's go across the country. NBC's Dan Lothian is at Camp Pendleton in Miramar, California, where they are mourning the loss of those 4 American Marines who died in a helicopter crash that also claimed the lives of 8 British troops as well. Dan, good morning. What's the mood at Camp Pendleton? It must be very somber.
Right. Good morning, Katie. We are not being allowed onto the base, but we can only imagine that it is a somber mood on the base as people showing up this morning are showing up with the realization that they indeed have lost some of their own. 4 in that helicopter crash and 1 on the ground. Officials here are not yet confirming that the 4 from that helicopter and the 1 in combat were from this particular base, but there's a reason why so much attention is being focused here on Camp Pendleton. First of all, the 1st Marine Expeditionary is based here. The bulk of the 1st Marine Expeditionary that was sent to the Persian Gulf region came from this base, and that 1 Marine who was shot is part of the 1st Marine Expeditionary. And also, that air squadron from which that helicopter went down was also based here. We're told that 80% of those helicopters are here, 20% in Miramar, which is just a few miles south of here. So certainly the odds are that all that have died so far, the 4 in the helicopter, the 1 on the ground, could be from this base. And this is exactly what the families were so concerned about when we talked to some of them yesterday. Some of the wives of the Marines who are overseas came here to the base yesterday, met with reporters, and they talked about their concerns. They said how every time they turn on the television set, they worry that they're going to get the bad news being that someone they know, one of their loved ones, has been killed. Another wife told us, though, that she feels very confident and puts a lot of faith in the training that the Marines have been through, that will allow them to come back home safely. Now, behind me, they haven't started doing it yet, but this flagpole here, the Marines have the flag, and we're told they're going to be raising that today. But unlike yesterday, it will not be going all the way to the top. We're told that the flag will be flying at half-staff, of course, in honor of those who have died. Back to you, Katie.
Dan Lothian at Camp Pendleton. Of course, Dan was referring to the crash of that CH-46 Sea Knight chopper that claimed the lives of 4 American Marines and 8 British. Is it 8 American Marines and 4 U.S. Marines and 8 British soldiers? Okay, right. Dan Lothian. Dan, thanks so much.
Okay.
A lot of sad news and hopefully not too much coming to families here in this country. Meanwhile, you have a check of the weather on this Friday morning?
We'll take another look at the Middle East, see what's going on there. Southern Iraq seeing some sandstorm activity. Nothing heavy, but because the winds are gusting about northwest at about 25 miles per hour, That's where we're getting some blowing and drifting sand. To the north, maybe a little rain and snow mixed in. By tomorrow, Kirkuk will see a temperature high of about 60, Baghdad 72, Kuwait City 79, and sunshine, sunnier as you get into the further in the southern reaches of Iraq and on into Kuwait. That's what's going on around the country. Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Good morning, folks, and you're looking at a picture this morning from our Northwest Sky Cam at Timberline Lodge, where the snow is coming down. As a matter of fact, snow advisories issued for the Oregon Cascades for up to a half foot of new snow over the next 24 hours. Here's live First Alert Doppler, and as you can see, rain is coming down now throughout much of the metropolitan area, both west and also on the east side, including right here in downtown Portland, both on the south and on the north side of town. Rain today in the forecast all day long, and our high 56 degrees.
That's your latest weather. Now back to Katie.
All right, Al, thanks so much. And a quick reminder, you can follow all the developments on our website all day. Of course, that is at today.msnbc.com. We'll be back in a moment. This is Today on NBC.
Chinook wins Casino in Lincoln City. It's better at the beach, where you can play big and win big. Friday and Saturday, March 21st and 22nd, it's better at the beach with the legendary Four Tops.
Now if you feel that you can't go home, baby, I need your loving, baby.
Chinook wins Casino in Lincoln City. It's better at the beach.
Tire Factory.
With the buying power of stores across 10 western states, we have the selection you deserve at the prices you want. Pull into the garage sale at Tire Factory and save on national brand tires and custom wheels. All backed by our unmatched warranty. The best warranty across 10 western states. Nothing beats a Tire Factory garage sale. On now. Tire Factory, putting you first. With 37 locations serving the Portland area.
Fact. Wix Furniture has great-looking living rooms at low prices every day. Great value by the piece, unbeatable savings by the room. Like this wash denim sofa, just $6.99. Or get sofa love seat and 3 tables, just $17.99. This plush sofa is $6.99, only $18.99 for the 5-piece package. Or choose this classic tone-on-tone sofa, $5.49. $12.99 for the package, with just 10% down, no payments and no interest till September 2004. Now at Wix Furniture.
It's time to breathe new life into your yard and garden. The experts at Farmington Gardens are here to help.
In container gardens, something like the squirt daffodil makes a great centerpiece. It's got some height to it, and you could add other elements like the primroses, pansies, around the sides.
Hundreds of varieties of flowers, shrubs, and trees, healthy, beautiful, and ready for your garden. Grown right here, and all just a short drive out Farmington Road in Aloha. Bring your garden to life. Farmington Gardens, we're growing for you.
Representative from Doctors Without Borders, find out what they're doing to help the Iraqi people.
Also, Matt, we're going to meet with the wife of one of the commanders of the 3rd Infantry Division as well. But first, these messages and your local news.
Style. Between Bel Air and Beverly Hills, you could feel it everywhere. For this was the era of glamour, elegance, and romance. An era personified by one man, Humphrey Bogart. Now, Thomasville presents the Bogart Collection, piece by piece, room by room, all designed with the style and elegance of one of Hollywood's most romantic legends. The Bogart Collection, only from Thomasville, where style lives. Come in now for 12 months, no payments, no interest financing.
They say to play the blues, you have to understand pain.
Oh, she hurts me so bad.
Diabetes can be very painful. Sticking my fingers, checking my blood sugar. It don't have to hurt.
Less pain, less blood. On your fingers or your arm. One Touch Ultra. Results in 5 seconds.
I can feel it way down in my shoes.
To play the blues, you want to feel it here, not here.
One Touch Ultra.
It's Pearl Vision's 2 for You sale. Buy 1 pair of glasses, choose a free pair valued up to $175. Your free glasses can be a 2nd pair, computer glasses, or even prescription sunglasses.
Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Whoa! There's nothing as huge as the JCPenney Huge Sale. Huge savings of 20 to 60% off. Doorbusters deals from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And an extra 10% off. Saturday only.
It's all inside.
JCPenney.
As far as allergies go, I'm a grass ragweed dust. My family's pollen mold dust. We always wanted to practice in the garage, but our allergy medicine didn't treat the mold or the dust. So we were switched to Zyrtec.
Is your allergy medicine treating your family's indoor and outdoor allergies? Unlike some allergy medicines, prescription Zyrtec is approved for both indoor and outdoor allergies. In studies, drowsiness was the most common side effect. Others included fatigue and dry mouth. Ask your doctor about switching to Zyrtec. Zyrtec. That's Zyrtec. Lots of allergies, just one Zyrtec.
This is Model T20. He has cancer. This is Curious 901. She has cancer too. This is Malcolm W. His wife has cancer. This is the Cancer Survivors Network, a place where people can get together online to share information, get support, and get hope. This is the American Cancer Society. This is where to go for help.
Oak Furniture Warehouse in Aloha announces their store closing sale. Come down now for crazy, wildly reduced, rock-bottom sale prices on furniture and mattresses. Everything must go, so everything is on sale. Up to 70% off Oak living room, dining room, bedroom, and office furniture. Plus all sofas, chairs, and mattresses. Delivery and financing are available. Oak Furniture Warehouse in Aloha. The store closing sale is happening now. Wow.
Most pharmacists only see their customers when they're sick.
But here at Safeway, I get to see mine when they do their grocery shopping.
We get to know each other better, so they feel comfortable asking for my advice.
Whether it's for the right cold remedy,
medicine for the kids,
the best vitamins.
And to fill prescriptions, we use the latest technology.
Maybe that's why so many customers trust our pharmacists.
All 2,500 of us.
Safeway, giving our best.
News Channel 8 can also be seen on these local translators. This is a News Channel 8 update.
And good morning, everybody. I'm Russ Lewis at 7:27. We have 47 degrees outside in downtown Portland. We've received word this morning that the shock and awe campaign we've heard so much about is now underway in Iraq. The admiral on board the USS Abraham Lincoln told his crew a few hours ago. And News Channel 8's Pat Doris is also aboard that ship and broke the news while we were talking to him about an hour ago.
What I believe is the breaking news is the Admiral came over the intercom a little while ago and said that the operation that you've all been waiting for, that you're referring to as shock and stun, or whatever the phrase is now underway. So I don't know specifically what that means, but I do suspect that over the next several hours you're going to see an intensification of the bombing that's going on throughout Iraq.
And again, that was News Channel 8's Pat Doris a little more than an hour ago. We will keep you updated, of course, on the situation in Iraq. Right now, though, let's check the traffic with Bill Diaz.
Well, inbound I-84 pretty slow from Gateway down past 82nd at the west end from 28th down to I-5. I-5 southbound is real slow in Vancouver. SR 500 down across the Interstate Bridge and all the way through Delta Park. Sunset Highway traffic, we've got slow traffic in both directions between Barnes and Cedar Hills, and I-5 northbound slows as you head from Taylor's Ferry to Terwilliger. Live from the ODOT Traffic Command Center, I'm Bill Diaz with the forecast. Here's Dave Selesky.
Bill, thanks very much. And back behind me, live First Alert Doppler 8000. And as you can see, all this green indicating light and moderate rain. We're seeing some heavier rain now just coming up over the Coast Range to the west of Hillsborough. And our forecast today calls for rain all day long with south winds. Our daytime high, 56 degrees. Now, Russ, back over to you.
Dave, thanks very much. We're back in 25 minutes with more local news. Until then, I'm Russ Lewis. Have a good day, everybody.
Come on. Yeah, I'm still in the car. 10 minutes, an hour, I've got no idea. This is ridiculous.
Can't wait to get your new Jetta? With offers like this, why would you?
So sexy, it'll make you want to cheat on your sofa. The Camilla shades from Lazy Boy. The new look of comfort.
Sometimes the little things make all the difference. This isn't one of those times. The factory authorized truckload sale at Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. Hurry before it comes to a halt.
Hi, I'm Staff Sergeant Vincent Gillum from Columbus, Ohio. I'd like to say hi to my wife, Lene, and baby girl, Cassandra, and the rest of my family.
Hello, my name is IT2 Green from Camp Antalya, Qatar. I want to say hello to my husband Gerald in Tampa, Florida, my son in North Carolina, and the rest of my family.
Hi, my name is PSC Moeller. I just wanted to say hi to my wife, Peg, and my 3 boys, Jeremy, Junior, and Tyler, and everybody back at Hobart. I hope to see you all real soon.
And we're back at 10:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 for you folks watching out on the West Coast on a Friday morning, the 21st day of March 2003, as Operation Iraqi Freedom is now solidly underway. The troops are on the move. U.S. planes have been in the air hitting targets in northern Iraq near the city of Kirkuk, and U.S. troops have taken control of airfields in the western part of the country. I'm Matt Lauer in Doha, Qatar. It is 6:30 in the evening in this section of the Gulf. Katie's back in New York. Katie, good morning again.
All right, and good evening to you, Matt. Meanwhile, here in the States, the president just met with congressional leaders. David Gregory is at the White House with more on that. David, good morning.
Good morning, Katie. This was a war update, White House officials say, as the president was meeting with Republican leadership and Democratic leadership who have been very critical of this president and his war aims. The president spoke just a few minutes ago. Let's listen to what he had to say.
I've asked the members of Congress to come up so that members of my administration can keep the leadership up to date as the war to liberate Iraq and to remove the weapons of mass destruction out of Iraq proceeds. The military briefings, of course, will continue to be given out of the Pentagon. Secretary Rumsfeld will be briefing this afternoon. I also really want to thank members of Congress, both House members, Senate members, members from both political parties for the strong resolutions that came off the floor of their respective bodies, resolutions which said loud and clear our country supports the men and women in uniform. Not only do we support those brave souls who are sacrificing on our behalf, but we want to thank their parents and their families for their dedication as well. As Secretary Rumsfeld said, we're making progress. We will stay on task until we've achieved our objective, which is to rid Iraq of weapons of mass destruction and free the Iraqi people so they can live in a society that is hopeful and democratic and at peace in this neighborhood. All of us involved here in Washington are extremely proud of the skill and bravery of our young Americans who are willing to sacrifice for something greater than themselves. So it's my honor to welcome the members here. We will continue to keep them briefed as this war progresses. And I want to thank them for the unity, the message of unity. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all. Secretary Rumsfeld will be briefing today.
The president speaking in the Oval Office this morning. You hear him saying Secretary Rumsfeld would be doing the briefing on all operational questions. You couldn't see them on camera, but congressional leadership, both Democrat and Republican, were also in the Oval Office. And, of course, Vice President Cheney, alongside the president, a key member of his War Council. They have already convened this morning. And, Katie, later today, this afternoon, the president will be heading to the presidential retreat at Camp David. He will remain there for the weekend, and his War Council will meet with him over this weekend.
David, as you mentioned, and the president mentioned, 2 strong resolutions coming from Congress, and he appreciates the show of unity. But did any congressional leaders express any concerns or reservations about the current war?
Well, they haven't in the past in these sessions where they're getting an update. Now, it's unclear whether they'll speak to reporters afterward. I think it's a possibility, but maybe just a faint one. Even though there has been criticism on the part of Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi from the House and Senator Tom Daschle, particularly Senator Daschle, was very critical of what he called the president's failed diplomacy. Once the war started, all of that criticism has been muted. You mentioned the war resolutions now, and all the public statements coming out of those 2 leaders has been only one of support for U.S. forces and indeed for the president as the war moves forward.
All right, David Gregory at the White House. David, thank you so much. We want to take a quick live shot of Baghdad through our night vision camera, if you will. Of course, we'll be keeping a close eye on Baghdad. 6:34 there in the evening, and for the past 2 nights, a series of surgical strikes focusing on Iraq's key leadership have taken place. So As we mentioned, we'll be keeping a close eye on that in the hours to come. Meanwhile, it's time for a check of the weather from Mr. Roger, keeping a close eye on the weather here in this country and actually overseas.
That's right. Things really quiet there. For our weather this weekend, not too bad. As you take a look, we've got some wet weather in the Pacific Northwest, windy conditions in the plains, cold and some snow in the central Great Lakes, heavy thunderstorms in central Texas. Then on Sunday, all quiet along the eastern seaboard with some showers and occasional thunderstorms down in Florida. Wet weather again in the Pacific Northwest and some snow in the northern Rockies. That's what's going on around the country. Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Good morning. It is a Friday morning, folks, March 21st, and that's our Rose City Skycam over on the east side of the Willamette River. Rain coming down right now throughout the metro area, and we will see lots of that throughout the day, and I think into tomorrow on Saturday as well. Warm front coming on shore up out of the west-southwest today, and then a cold front with heavy rain in the forecast by tonight. So a soggy day ahead for Portland and Vancouver. South winds 10 to 20 miles an hour. Our high today at 56 degrees.
Okay, Al, thanks so much, and we'll be back with more of this special edition of Today from New York and Qatar right after this.
I wanted to know.
I had H&R Block double-check last year's tax return. Free.
More than 500,000 people have taken the free double-check challenge at H&R Block. Those that overpaid got an average of $1,300 more.
They found over $2,000, my CPA notes.
I got $1,000. It's my money. I want it back.
It's your turn. See if we can help you get more back. Take the free H&R Block Double Check Challenge.
My friends think you're crazy.
Yo, your friends don't even know me.
One DVD will take you further inside.
I have a feeling about you.
With exclusive freestyle rap battles, plus the real story from Eminem.
If I lost the battle, my whole life is over.
They're calling your name. 8 Mile. Own the DVD now. DVD bonus materials also available uncensored.
Honolulu, baby, where'd you get those eyes? And that bright complexion I just idolize. Honolulu, baby, where'd you get that style? And those pretty red lips and that sunny smile.
Dole fruit bowls. Life is sweet.
That's a live shot of Baghdad on this Friday evening. It's about 25 of 7 Baghdad time. And the news, of course, of great import to the people who live in that city is that British, or B-52s, have left British air bases. They did that hours ago. It is said they could be on the way to deliver bombs to the area in and around Baghdad. We'll keep you posted on that. The number of dead and wounded inside Iraq is unknown, and reaching them for the 2 humanitarian groups working inside Iraq has been extremely difficult. One agency, Doctors Without Borders, a non-profit organization that provides emergency health care to victims of armed conflict, is now trying to get to those people. Catherine Schulte-Hillen is a nurse who until 2 days ago was stationed in Baghdad with that agency. This morning she's in Amman, Jordan, with news from her team still at Baghdad or in Baghdad. Ms. Schulte-Hillen, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Give me an idea of how large a group you have operating inside Iraq at this time.
We have 6 international staff at the moment in Baghdad. Medical team with a surgeon, anesthesiologist, general doctor experienced in emergency, and then some logistical backup and coordination.
And I know you've been in contact with this team. Have they been telling you the extent or the number of casualties they're seeing or injuries, wounded that they're seeing, and how difficult is it for them to get to these people?
At the moment, they have been able to move around a little bit, yesterday and today also. It would be difficult to have exact numbers. There are casualties, and we are in contact with them. But since there's quite a few hospitals in Baghdad, it would be difficult to have a complete overview at this time.
In the past, I know organizations like yours have run into roadblocks set up by the Iraqi government. Are you finding any resistance, any hurdles in reaching these people that are placed there by the Iraqis?
I couldn't tell you today because I wouldn't know how today was, but I think that in general there is a mode rather of collaboration. We're in contact with the Iraqi authorities. We've been there for quite a few months, and they are completely aware of what MSF is offering as support to the population. And there's a dialogue going on, both with the authorities and then also with the Iraqi Red Crescent, who is very interested in helping their own population.
Yeah, and the Red Cross or Red Crescent, as you said, are you teaming up? Are you pooling resources?
No, there's communication going on. The Red Crescent has their mode of functioning, and we are in communication with them because they're the interlocutor for the authorities, for NGOs. And the International Red Cross has their typical position in a situation like that. We obviously talk with them, but at this time I think the idea is for everybody to have the possibility to do assessments and then cross-check information, keep each other informed about security, about needs of the population.
And Catherine, let me ask you about the refugee situation and the problem that presents for your organization. For example, refugees crossing into Jordan. What are you seeing in that regard? There's very little information available right now, and I'm probably not the best place to say anything about that. I've really concentrated on Baghdad. I was over there and have just come back, and we tried to give backup to the team that is there now, try to get some more supplies in, and there is a lot of organizations here. MSF is also working on the response to possible refugee influx and possible cross-border operation from Jordan and Kuwait and other neighboring countries, including Iran and then Syria, of course. But I couldn't give you right now anything that you wouldn't already know. And basically the information is that there's not a large influx. And what I've seen on my way back from Baghdad at night was that there was population movement going on, but not the kind of massive, refugee kind of influx, not at all. All right, Catherine Schulte-Hillen of Doctors Without Borders. Ms. Schulte-Hillen, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. And we're going to take a break and be back with much more of this special edition of Today right after these messages.
When Donna Jensen decided to upgrade her life,
welcome aboard!
She got more than she bargained for.
I've had only 2 minor crashes. I chalk it up to experience, and I'm feeling better about it.
View from the Top gets incredibly funny.
Would you care for some champagne?
And downright hilarious.
Captain?
Hello. View from the Top.
Thank you for flying with us today. The last one off the plane has to clean it.
Rated PG-13. Now playing.
Here's a little reminder for you from Flonase. Don't forget to use your Flonase nasal spray. You'll be glad you did. Remember, all you want is Flonase.
Here comes dinner!
I'm not eating that.
There's no place like Outback for our new Royal Port catch. Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right.
What if you could capture radiance in a bottle? Now you can with an amazing facial moisturizer from Aveeno. Positively radiant daily moisturizer. Only Aveeno has an exclusive soy complex shown to soften and even tone, while natural light diffusers give your skin a healthy glow. Let your natural radiance shine through. Aveeno Positively Radiant Moisturizer. Discover nature's secret for naturally radiant skin.
The Strauss Potting Shed, where good hands go to get dirty. Check this out. When these marigolds were potted, they were the same size. Did this one get more sun? More water? No. The difference? This. Miracle Grow potting mix. Premium organic materials plus just the right amount of Miracle Grow plant food mixed in. Miracle Grow potting mix is so much richer than ordinary potting soil. Plants grow twice as big. Have you used Miracle Grow lately?
We want to check in now with NBC's David Bloom, as we have been all morning. He is with the 3rd Division on the move in the southern Iraqi desert. David, obviously night is falling. What are you doing now?
We're having a stop right now, Katie, because the convoy is refueling. We're at the lead element of this convoy, but the back portion of it is still refueling. So we wanted to say hello again to the two guys who we've been traveling with, Sergeant Joe Todd and Private Trinity McLean. And earlier, if you were watching us, they said hello to their loved ones back home. And we decided that far better than for me to say hello to their loved ones, we'd give them a chance to do so themselves. So I'm going to put on Sergeant Joe Todd first for a little bit of a surprise here for Sergeant Joe Todd.
That's right, because, David, we've got a surprise for some of the folks you've been traveling with. Rosa Todd is the wife of Sergeant Joe Todd, the tank commander of the 3rd Infantry Division. And Lylene Nance is the aunt of Trinity McLean, who's driving the vehicle you've been riding in all morning. And we want to say a good morning to Mrs. Todd and Miss Nance. Thanks so much for being with us. Nice to see you. Rosa, how are you? Did you hear this morning when your husband told David to make sure he said hello to you on national television?
I didn't see it, but my friends called me and told me he was on TV and say hi to me.
I know, Rosa, that this is a very nerve-wracking time for you and your family. And when is the last, your husband has been gone. Your husband, Joe, has been gone now for 7 months. When was the last time you were able to speak with him?
I don't recall that. Probably a month.
So it's been about a
Probably
month.
Yeah.
Well, Joe is listening to you right now. Sergeant Joe Todd, I bet you'd like to say a few things to your wife, Rosa.
Yes, I would.
Well, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
It's on us. Go ahead.
Hi, honey. Honey.
Hey, honey, I miss
Can you hear me, honey?
Yes.
I miss you too, honey. I love you. I love you.
I love you too.
I miss you very much.
Too. Me too.
Sergeant Todd,
I'm to school, right? Don't worry about us.
I know your mom
Honey?
said
Hello?
hi. She come. Yeah, your mom said hi this morning, and she said I love you. She said she loves
Tell
you.
her I love her too. Tell her I miss him. Tell give Dad a hug.
Okay.
Rosa, why don't you tell Sergeant Todd how your children are doing? How many children do you all have?
2 children.
2 children. And how are they getting along? Obviously, they must miss their father a great deal.
My son cries when he calls.
I bet he does. Hey, Sergeant Todd, I know your wife, Rosa, is extremely nervous and on edge since you've been gone, or particularly now that military action has begun. Can you talk to her or offer her any reassurance about some of the things you're seeing and the experiences you're having so far, Sergeant?
Oh, don't be worried, honey. Everything's fine. We got a lot of people out here to protect us, take care of us, and we're all taking care of each other. The people out here so far have been pretty pleasant. We'll see what happens when we get to the city, but I don't see a big problem with it. I think they want to get this over with, just like we do.
Sergeant, what about weather? What about weather conditions, Sergeant? What about weather conditions? What are you experiencing when it comes to that?
Nighttime's a little chilly, and the daytime is starting to get warm with all this gear that we wear. Other than that, it's been pretty much clear skies, minus the dust storms that we create.
And Rosa, is there anything you'd like to say before we pass the headset to Trinity McLean? And anything else you'd like to say to your husband?
I just tell him that we're waiting for him and to be safe and just do what he has to do. And we love him.
All right, Rosa Todd. Rosa, thanks so much. I stepped on your husband when he was saying he loved you. I hope you heard him.
Thank you.
And now, as we can see, we're passing the headset over to Trinity McLean, who is also with the 3rd Infantry Division. Trinity, can you hear me?
Oh, roger that, ma'am.
Hey, oh, roger that. I love when you talk military to me, Trinity. I know that you said to tell your girlfriend Yahira. Is it Yahira? Hello? We couldn't find Yahira, Trinity, but we did find your Aunt Lylene, who lives here in Brooklyn. She came into the studio and she wanted to say hi to you as well.
Hey, hi, hon.
Hi, sweetie.
Are you okay?
Yes.
Come on, cheer up, man.
Yeah. Trinity, your aunt said when she saw you on television this morning, she started crying. She was so emotional and so thrilled to see you. What went through your mind, Mrs. Nance, when you saw your nephew?
Like, please come home safe.
Well, I'm glad she saw me, and at the same time, I'm glad. I don't want her to really like worry herself because she like to like, you know what I'm saying, like get worked up. But everything is alright. Like my son said, we out here with the best, the baddest military on the face of the earth. We're getting ready to roll through Iraq, whatever, and I'm safe, and everything is alright.
I hope you stay that way.
Oh, your aunt's crying right now. I know she's got her daughter at home to keep her company, and I know your mom, Trinity, is in the Virgin Islands, right?
I spoke to her this morning.
That's the Roger.
And were you, have you been, stop saying Roger to me, will ya? When were you last able to speak with your mom in the Virgin Islands, Trinity?
Oh, my mom, I know she's watching right now, and I want to say, Mom, I love you. You know I do, and I can't promise I'm coming home, but I'll try to be safe, and I'm well trained, so just got to do what we got to do and make it back.
Trinity, I was going to say, you're just 20 years old, right?
Roger. Well, I'll be 21 in June, so.
21 soon. And tell me a little bit about the training that you've had to do that in order to complete and take part in this mission. Can you tell me about that, and how is it different than what you trained for, or is it, are there any surprises for you so far?
Well, like I said, we've been training night and day, so the training that we did is similar to what we're doing, and the only problem that I have is just the dust. It's dusty out here, and it's hot. It gets hot and it gets cold, so I'm trying to adjust to both climatization, if you want to put it like that. So I'm trying to adjust and drive home.
Are you getting any rest at all, Trinity?
Oh, rest. Oh, rest. We take, whenever we stop, my sergeant, you know what I'm saying, he always tell me, hey, take like a 2-hour nap or a 3-hour nap or whatever and try to get some rest. And we change out drivers. Like I drive, he drive. I man the gun. Sometimes he drive, he mans the gun and stuff like that. So we look out for each other. He look out for me, make sure I'm okay. And I'm really glad to have son Todd as my boss. So like I said, I'll be home pretty soon, so you ain't got to worry. Mom, I love you. Yahira, one love. And to all my buddies out there, stay up. I'm out in Kuwait. I'm not Kuwait, in Iraq. I want my aunt. I want you to pray for me and just be strong, all right?
All right, thanks so much. Is there anything, Lylene, you'd like to say to your nephew before we leave?
I love you, and I spoke to your mother this morning, to your sister watching, and come home safe. It's not just my son and you. I want everybody home safe. And I love you. You're like a son to me. Take care.
All right.
And I would like to say one more thing. To my sister, Anika, hope I see you when I get back, and that's it.
All right. Roger that, Trinity. Trinity McLean, thank you so much. I'm sure we'll be catching up with you later when we talk again to David Bloom, to you and Sergeant Todd. Thank you so much. Before we go, I just wanted to mention, we had a photo that we showed, which wasn't Trinity. It was actually your son, Everroy, who's in the Army, and he's currently stationed in Kuwait. Have you heard from him at all, Mrs. Nance?
I heard about a week ago.
Yeah, and I know you're very nervous about him and anxious to hear from him. Well, thank you for coming in. Take care of yourself.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with much more of this special edition of Today right after these messages.
Why can't you understand, Mom? I really need to find my dad.
She was the daughter he never knew.
A piece of paper doesn't prove anything.
She has my eyes.
And the girl who would turn his life around.
Strange how easy it comes, isn't it?
What?
Worrying.
Amanda Bynes, Colin Firth.
When I was little, every birthday, I'd wish that you'd come and find me.
What a girl wants.
Wow.
I have no idea where that came from.
Rated PG. Starts Friday, April 4th at a theater near you.
I almost lost the entire backyard to crabgrass, and I vowed that would never happen again. The following year, I did use turf builder plus Halts. It not only got rid of the crabgrass, but it also greened up the lawn and thickened it. I'm proud of the results that I get from Scott's, and there will be no crabgrass.
Whoa!
There's nothing as huge as the JCPenney Huge Sale. Huge savings of 20 to 60% off. Doorbuster deals from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And an extra 10% off. Saturday only. It's all inside JCPenney.
Soulmates. Buddies. Your better half. You just aren't you without them. Like coffee's not coffee without Coffee Mate. That smooth flavor. That velvety texture. That certain something that's so much more than just a cup of coffee. Coffee Mate from Nestle. Coffee's perfect mate. Coffee Mate flavors in larger sizes. Now there's more to love.
Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Just the thing you need in the morning.
We're wheeling and we're dealing.
You want a wheeling deal, or do you want a real sale? Suzuki's once-a-year Move Fast sale. Right now, you can get great financing or $2,000 cash back on all new 2003 XL7s. A Consumer's Digest Best Buy with America's #1 warranty. That's 0% APR financing for 5 years or $2,000 cash back. So get in and take a closer look at America's best value so you don't have to deal with him.
Tell you what I'm going to do.
Let me guess, stuffed French toast down at IHOP.
Yeah, now at IHOP, it's stuffed French toast. Creamy, fruity, and served with your favorites starting at $4.99. Everybody's packing in just to get a taste. IHOP, come hungry, leave happy.
Martin's got limited March Madness sale. Martin's not mad, he's just a little bit angry. Fighting inflation by cutting prices on our entire inventory. Savings on dining, bedroom, leather, living room, lighting, accessories, and more. Martin's got limited, 6100 Macadam.
News Channel 8 can also be seen on these local translators. This is a News Channel 8 update.
And good morning, everybody. I'm Russ Lewis. It's 7:57 now. We have 47 degrees outside on a Friday morning, and Portland's bridges and streets are clear again this morning. War protesters tied up parts of downtown Portland for 9 hours yesterday, and some of them became violent. The first clash came at the Steel Bridge, where demonstrators rushed at police, who responded with batons and pepper spray to keep them back and off of that bridge. And then some stopped traffic by lying down on the interstates, 5 and 84. Dozens of demonstrators blocked Burnside at 2nd until about 2 this morning.
Well, when they come up, we're going to come peacefully, but until then, we're staying right here.
And it's not our goal to get arrested. Our goal is to stop the war, and we don't hate the police.
In all, police arrested 135 people overnight. 43 of them spent the night in jail for disorderly conduct and assault. Time for a traffic check now. Here's Bill Diaz.
Well, it's gotten pretty busy out there. Inbound I-84 basically slow now from Gateway all the way down to I-5. On the Sunset Highway, Highway 26, we've got slow traffic in both directions between the top of the Sylvan Hill and Murray. I-5 northbound is heavy as well. Stop-and-go traffic from Tigard through the Terwilliger curves. I-5 southbound slows from Maine through Delta Park. Live from the ODOT Traffic Command Center, I'm Bill Diaz with the forecast. Here's Dave Selesky.
Bill, thank you. We do have lots of rain coming down up and down the coast now into the Willamette Valley, including obviously here locally Portland and Vancouver. Currently outside in the Rose City with the rain coming down, it's 47 degrees. Wind is out of the south at about 10 to 12 miles an hour at this time. Forecast today looks like this: cloudy skies and rain all day long. Our high, 56 degrees. Russ, back to you.
All right, Dave, thanks very much. We have more local news coming up for you in 25 minutes this morning. Until then, I'm Russ Lewis. Have a good day.
Everything is now at least 20 to 50% off at the Emporium going out of business sale. Plus, for 3 days only, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, take an extra 10% off your entire purchase. That's an extra 10% off already low discounted prices. Find new price reduction. Get 30% off the entire stock of men's, women's, and children's active, casual, and dress shoes. 30% off all Missy, Petite, and plus-size sportswear separates from Relativity. Get total liquidation savings on everything at the Emporium going out of business sale today.
People, that's what makes the world go around. At Town & Country, that's how we feel about it. It's all about you. Your time, precious. Your needs, vital. When your automotive needs become a reality, Think of us. It's what you deserve. Town & Country Dealerships was named the #1 large company to work for in Oregon. Our employees are happy. That's why you'll drive home happy. Wherever you're going, let us help you get there. Town & Country. Drive home happy.
And we're back at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 a.m. in the West on this Friday morning, the 21st day of March. The year is 2003, and we're looking at a live shot of Baghdad, where it is 7 p.m. All is quiet right now in the Iraqi capital, but if Wednesday and Thursday nights are any indication, it won't remain that way there tonight. Early this morning, armed B-52s took off from an airfield in England. They could reach Baghdad shortly. And welcome back to this special split edition of Today. I'm Kitty Couric in New York. Matt Lauer is on assignment in Doha, Qatar. Matt, good morning, or in your case, good evening.
That's right, good evening. It's 7 o'clock in the evening here in Qatar, 7 in Baghdad as well. And let me get to the latest. The U.S. and Britain are mourning the first casualties of the war on those sides. 1 Marine has been shot, 4 Americans and 8 British soldiers were killed when their chopper crashed returning from a mission inside Iraq. It crashed in northern Kuwait. There's been action all over Iraq. U.S. warplanes struck Republican Guard units in the northern city of Kirkuk. U.S. troops have taken control of 2 key airfields there in western Iraq. I believe they're called H3 and H2. Military sources say that U.S. Marines have also taken most of the southern port of Qasr. Coming up, we're going to check in with our correspondents all around the Persian Gulf, and we want to start with veteran correspondent Peter Arnett, who is in Baghdad working for NBC and National Geographic. I understand we have Peter on the phone now. And Peter, I should have asked you this a while ago. How much outside information are the people of Baghdad receiving about what's going on in this conflict?
Basically, Matt, each evening they tune into many radio broadcasts that come from neighboring countries, a U.S. Arabic station, Radio Monaco. During the day, however, they're really not informed, so I don't think that very many people in Baghdad know that there are 8 B-52s heading in this general direction. We in the media know, certainly government officials who have access to cable television news operations know, that the mass of Baghdad people certainly aren't aware of what could be happening around here tonight.
And basically, Peter, is it safe to say that the streets are empty when night falls in Baghdad?
Well, yes, as of last night, Matt, there is basically only police cars moving around. This afternoon, some small food stores were open. It is also a day of rest or a day of prayer. It's the holy day, Friday. But basically, though, now in particular, there is just no movement at all as it was last evening. I mean, the realization here is that most attacks that have been launched in the past and in the past 2 days have come at night. And people are hunkered down again in preparation for what may happen this evening, Matt.
And Peter, you told me, I believe it was this morning, perhaps yesterday, that the sand bunkers in and around Baghdad were filled with Republican Guard troops. In the first day and a half or 2 days of this conflict now, have you seen any movement in those troops, any increase or decrease in their number?
Well, actually, I didn't mention Republican Guard troops. They're basically party militia members and regular sort of soldiers. We haven't seen any Republican Guard troops actually in the middle of the city. We are aware, though, that 3 Republican Guard divisions are on the outskirts of the capital, and plus 30 or 40,000 special troops. But they are basically in their defense positions around the city. In town, many regular soldiers and militiamen, all with guns, also many plainclothes individuals with weapons outside some of the ministries. Matt.
All right, veteran correspondent Peter Arnett, who's in Baghdad this evening, Baghdad time. Let's go to David Bloom now, who is embedded with the 3rd Infantry Division, and we've been checking in with David all day long, giving us some dramatic pictures as that division moves to the north after crossing into the Iraqi border some probably 22 hours now. David, good evening to you.
Good evening, Matt. Right now we're stopped. This convoy is stopped because the elements behind it are refueling. And I've been telling you all along that this is a tank recovery vehicle, and it has the ability to tow or push out of the way large vehicles. So I want to show you what we're doing right now. We're backing up to this 577, which is a command and control vehicle. You can see the antenna sticking out from it. And what we're going to do is we're going to tow it because it's broken down. And what happens is, obviously, these roads are very bumpy. I mean, I use the words roads liberally. Obviously, it's just sand that we're trekking along here through the desert. And they expected some vehicles to break down, and indeed, some vehicles have broken down. And so this vehicle comes along and is going to give it a tow up to wherever we're heading. Matt?
David, during the refueling stop that you made, I guess it was a couple of hours ago now, did the troops manage to get a little bit of rest and stop and get some nourishment?
Not really. I mean, certainly not rest, because basically they're just sort of at the ready all the time, ready for the order to move out again. As to getting a little nourishment, as I told you before, they grab these MREs, these meals ready to eat, and grab something really quick. But for example, the guys that we're with, they're just grabbing a candy bar or a granola bar or something like that along the way, and using that as sustenance until we have a longer stop. Right now, even though we're stopped, they're hard at work getting ready to tow this vehicle, so their work doesn't end even when they're stopped here.
All right, David Bloom with the 3rd Infantry traveling north in Iraq. David, thank you very much. Let's go back to New York now, and Katie.
All right, Matt, thanks very much. The Pentagon is saying the next 24 hours of the war will be crucial. For the latest, let's go to NBC's Jim Miklashevsky. Mick, why are they saying the next 24 hours are so important?
Well, two things are going to happen in the next 24 hours which do make this period critical in terms of achieving a quick outcome to this conflict. First of all, as we've seen David Bloom streaking up through the desert with that 3rd Infantry Division at a pretty brisk pace, they're going to try to get as many ground troops as possible close to Baghdad. Not exactly on the edge, but as close to Baghdad as they can. We're also going to see some key airfields seized perhaps by troops that are not always highly visible within the next 24 hours. That will allow more aircraft to come in to bring even more troops in closer to the Baghdad region. And also, I think we're going to see, and it's what Peter Arnett was talking about, still large numbers of Republican guards and Ba'ath Party militia still armed, still roaming the streets in and around Baghdad. I think within the next 24 hours, you're going to see an effort by the U.S., perhaps through a more aggressive bombing campaign, to try to break the backs and the fighting will of any remaining troops inside that Baghdad region. It's already thought that Saddam Hussein's control over the government is tenuous, if not severed entirely, that it's unclear that there is any serious central military command and control outside of Baghdad right now, but they really want to drive the point home, and they want to do that soon.
All right, Jim Miklashevsky at the Pentagon. Mick, thank you so much for that report. Meanwhile, NBC's chief foreign affairs correspondent Andrea Mitchell is tracking the movements of the most wanted man in Iraq, Saddam Hussein. Andrea, good morning.
Good morning, Katie. What intelligence officials and others are trying to analyze right now is, where is Saddam Hussein? Is he still alive? They do believe he was in that family compound along with his sons, which was, as you know, hit the day before yesterday by 2 F-117s, each carrying 2 of those bunker-busting bombs, and then followed up by more than 3 dozen Tomahawk cruise missiles. So there was an extraordinary amount of ordnance that was dropped on that compound. Inside that compound, top members of the leadership, U.S. officials believe that they did get some members of the regime, but they just don't know whether Saddam Hussein was merely injured, whether he was not injured, whether he's alive, whether he's dead. They have ascertained, to the best of their knowledge, that it probably was Saddam Hussein on the videotape that was then aired on Iraqi television about 3 hours after that hit, Katie. But they're not sure yet when it was taped. It could have been done before the attack.
And Andrea, I understand there are all sorts of rumors floating around the State Department and elsewhere regarding what happened to Saddam Hussein during that surgical strike. Some rumors that he was in fact injured and removed on a stretcher.
There was a rumor to that effect, and that he was carried out with an oxygen mask. But the best guess inside all of the agencies to whom we talk about this, is that that is the kind of, quote, eyewitness report you simply cannot verify. They're getting a lot of different reporting, but they are warning us away from it. They say that there is no way of knowing whether that is true, and so they do not think that we should be reporting that.
I understand, Andrea, there's a possibility that Colin Powell may take some questions from reporters in just a few minutes, but what's going on diplomatically, if anything?
Well, there's a lot of stress, of course, on the humanitarian side, on getting the food pre-positioned so that it can move in with the troops. They want those relief supplies as quickly as possible. There's money, as we've discussed, for the food that has been escrowed from the accounts produced by Iraqi oil, and this, you know, supports the president's arguments on in all of his messages that that oil is for the benefit of the Iraqi people, that the U.S., it claims, is not out to grab those oil wells for American interests. So it is very much in their interest diplomatically to make sure that they move that along.
I was going to ask you if Secretary of State Powell is making overtures to some members of the United Nations to try to sort of bridge the gap that was you know, made during all these discussions about diplomatic solutions, because obviously the UN could play a very critical role in the post-Saddam Iraq.
Yes, they are making overtures to Kofi Annan and others at the UN, but I don't think they're quite cozy with the French.
All right, at least not yet, if ever. Okay, Andrea Mitchell in Washington. Andrea, thank you so much. Now we're going to go down to the White House where NBC's David Gregory is. David, can you give us a quick update from there?
Well, we've heard from the president so far today. Katie, he was meeting with congressional leaders and Vice President Cheney, giving them a war update. The president, again, thanked U.S. troops, extolled their bravery. He said, as they've been saying around here, they believe the operation is going well. But they're very much on message here, as they have been in the past. The president not wanting to talk about operational details. He made it very clear that Secretary Rumsfeld would be doing that today. Later today, he goes to Camp David. Members of his key war council, with whom he's already met today, will go up to Camp David as well and meet with him tomorrow. And also, Katie, just to expand on something that Jim Miklashevsky was reporting a couple of minutes ago, there really is a concerted effort here still to force the Iraqi regime, through their public pronouncements, to simply lay down their arms and to give up before the fighting intensifies. That's still a major effort here.
All right, David Gregory at the White House. David, thank you so much. Now for more of today's top stories, let's head over to the news desk. Yeah, it's been a long morning. And Soledad O'Brien. Soledad, good morning.
Good morning, Katie. Thanks. Good morning, everybody. A massive anti-war rally turned violent today in Yemen. 2 people were killed and dozens injured as police fought with demonstrators trying to overrun the U.S. embassy there. Meantime, thousands of protesters took to the streets across the nation on Thursday to demonstrate against the war. Last night in Albuquerque, New Mexico and Portland, Oregon, police used tear gas and pepper spray to disperse demonstrators. In San Francisco alone, police arrested more than 1,300 people. This morning, British Prime Minister Tony Blair said the war in Iraq is going well, but he added it won't be won overnight. Blair also said there are more signs of desertions and divisions in the Iraqi ranks. A big victory for President Bush this morning. The House passed a $2.2 trillion budget that includes the president's big tax cut package. The budget does not include funding for the war. The Senate plans a vote today. Some moderates are trying to trim the president's proposed tax cuts. United Airlines could announce job cutbacks as early as today. The airline industry has been hit hard by the economy and by travelers' fears of flying because of the war. United is the world's second largest airline. Police in Salt Lake City say that they have recovered the knife they believe was used in the kidnapping of Elizabeth Smart. According to investigators, it was found in a hidden camp in the hills outside Salt Lake City. Brian Mitchell and his wife, Wanda Barzee, are accused of kidnapping Elizabeth Smart. They remain behind bars. Residents in Colorado are digging out today from that state's worst blizzard in 90 years. On Thursday, an avalanche roared down a mountain covering an interstate. Officials shut down a 60-mile stretch of Interstate 70 west of Denver. Experts warn avalanche danger is extreme in some places. It's now 13 minutes past the hour. Let's go back to Katie and to Al.
All right. Thank you very much, Soledad. All right. Now let's have a quick check of the weather from Mr. Roker.
Right.
How's it looking for the weekend?
Well, actually not too bad here, although as we take a look and show you what's going on out in the Middle East, we're looking at 72 degrees in Doha right now, Kuwait City 71, 61 in Baghdad. And as far as tomorrow's forecast is concerned, we are looking at sunshine in the southern part of that area. Kuwait City will get up to 79, as cool as 60 in Kirkuk. And I should also mention that I misspoke about an hour or so ago. Spring was yesterday around 8 o'clock. I got confused. That's what's going on around the country. Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods. I thought we were going to...
Hey, it's March 21st, and the view this morning from our Wells Fargo Center Skycam. Cloudy and gray and wet today over all of the metropolitan area. And the reason for that, well, two things. We have the jet stream right here steering this system onshore, so we're going to have cloudy skies and rainy conditions throughout the morning hours. Cold front kicks into gear for tonight for heavier rain and gusty winds. Our forecast today in Portland, rain and south winds 10 to 20 miles an hour. Daytime high, 56 degrees.
Back to Katie.
Al, thanks. Let's quickly go to the State Department, where Colin Powell is answering some questions.
I had a long conversation with Prime Minister Erdogan about it last night, and I hope we can clear it up. If not, we'll have to find alternate arrangements, but I'm still hopeful it can be cleared up, and I'll be speaking to them in the next hour or so.
Secretary, it looks increasingly clear that the Turkish military is trying to block the overflight so that they can move their troops into northern Iraq. How concerned are you about this? And what are the potential consequences if this happens?
I'm not saying that's perfectly clear. You are. What I'm saying is that we are in contact with the Turks about the overflight issue. They have to publish the Parliament's decree in their equivalent of the Federal Register, and we are in contact with them about their desire to have a presence in northern Iraq. At the moment, we don't see a need for any Turkish incursions into northern Iraq, and we are talking with the Turkish authorities to see whether or not there is some planning we should do with respect to any humanitarian needs that might arise along the border. But our position is that these two items should be separable. Let's deal with the overflight issue and deal with the need for making sure that there is not a disturbance along the Turkish-Iraq border.
Mr. Secretary, is this... anyone with an Iraqi diplomatic presence to cut off that presence and expel the diplomats. Already two strong allies, Canada and Russia, have said they're not going to do that. They don't think that's the right move. How big a problem is this going to be for you?
That is their choice. We believe that as we watch this regime come to an end, it would be appropriate to let all of our friends know that it was time to cease the activity of the Iraqi missions in their countries, and the leading members of those missions should be asked to leave. If some countries choose not to do that, that is their choice.
Mr. Secretary, is the State Department, in fact, in touch with any elements within Iraq to try and get Saddam Hussein to surrender, resign?
There are a number of channels open to Baghdad. There are a number of individuals and countries around the world who have been conveying the message to the Iraqi regime that it is now inevitable, that there will be a change. Coalition forces are doing very well. The operation is going, I think, in a very fine manner. And in order to prevent any loss of life beyond that which may have occurred already, it would be wise for Iraqi leaders to recognize that their day is over and that this is going to happen. Also want to express my sympathy and condolences for the lives of coalition soldiers, both United States, UK, especially United States Marines who have been lost so far. War is a terrible thing, and unfortunately lives are lost. So the sooner we can get this over in a decisive way that brings a better life to the people of Iraq, the better off we will be.
Mr. Secretary of State, we just received the President of Cameroon. May we know how you define the relations between Cameroon and the United States today?
Relations between our two countries, I think, are excellent. And President Biya had a fine visit here. He had a good discussion with President Bush yesterday and dinner with President Bush. And we just completed a good series of discussions here. We'll be working with Cameroon in the Security Council as we move forward. And we have plans to assist them with some of their economic development activities and aid activities, and their interest in pursuing more aggressively the campaign against terrorism. Cameroon is a place of stability in that part of Africa, and we want to do everything we can to strengthen the government and to strengthen our relationship with Cameroon. One more.
President Chirac has said in Brussels that he is opposed, France is opposed to the U.S. and the U.K. Taking over in Baghdad by UN resolution, that he would oppose that. A, does that surprise you? And B, do you intend to seek a UN resolution to do that?
We are in consultation with coalition members as well as other members of the Security Council as to what is appropriate as we move forward. with respect to the Oil for Food program and any other broader resolution that might be appropriate. I'm not quite sure what President Chirac is referring to. All I know is that the liberation of Iraq is underway, and we want to do it in a way that will demonstrate to the world that we come as liberators, that we're going to put in place a better life for the people of Iraq, a representative form of government, and we're going to use the assets of the people of Iraq, especially their oil assets, to benefit their people and to no longer develop weapons of mass destruction and to be used to threaten their neighbors. And I hope that France will want to be a partner in such an effort, but that remains to be seen. It is time for us to realize that the liberation is underway and it is inevitable. Thank you.
Watching Secretary of State, that was Secretary of State Colin Powell at the State Department answering reporters' questions. He was with the President of Cameroon, Cameroon being one of the undecided members of the Security Council when it came to that resolution authorizing force. Andrea Mitchell in Washington. Clearly, Secretary Powell has a lot of diplomatic work to do with Canada and Russia refusing to expel Iraqi diplomats, and the latest message from Jacques Chirac as well.
Jacques Chirac indicating that they will oppose efforts by the U.S. and Great Britain to have UN resolutions backing up this occupation, which they expect to be an occupation of Iraq by the coalition forces. What Colin Powell also indicated was that no matter what Jacques Chirac says, that they are going to proceed and they are working with the UN on those relief measures as we speak. Also, Cameroon is clearly going to get the aid that it has been requesting, even though they didn't vote with us. They're going to be supporting Cameroon aid initiatives.
Right, and clearly waiting for word from the Turks or from Turkey that U.S. aircraft will be permitted to use their airspace, and that will be forthcoming. But Turkey may cause some problems in northern Iraq, but hopefully that won't be the case. Andrea Mitchell in Washington. Andrea, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with much more on this Friday morning. But first, these messages.
Boat Trip is laugh out loud funny.
It's a gay cruise. What did you say?
One crazy and daring romantic comedy.
Maybe a gay guy can do me a favor.
I told her I was gay. What are you, crazy?
Hilarious.
I've got to get out of these clothes.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Outrageous.
What the hell are you doing?
And funny. Funny.
Want to get back together?
Well, I did before I found out that you were, you know.
How could you think I'm gay?
Boat Trip, rated R, now playing.
It's Pearl Vision's 2 for You sale. Buy one pair of glasses, choose a free pair valued up to $175. Your free glasses can be a second pair, computer glasses, or even prescription sunglasses.
Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Taken right before you eat, Beano's natural enzyme helps prevent gas before it even starts. Because after a meal like this, all you really want to feel in your stomach is a good belly laugh. Enjoy food without gas. Beano.
Every day, the South wakes up to billions of allergens, from cats and dogs to ragweed and dust. That's why there's Clarinex. Clarinex provides receptor protection to help block histamine. Get 24-hour non-drowsy allergy relief anywhere, anytime. Side effects are similar to sugar pill, including sore throat, dry mouth, and fatigue. Indoor allergies, outdoor allergies, wherever. Talk to your doctor about Clarinex.
It's a live shot of Baghdad on this Friday evening, and when we come back to Qatar, we'll have more on military meteorologists and how key they are to the success of a mission. Katie?
Also, Matt, the search for a new and dangerous suspected al-Qaeda operative in this country. That's right after this.
Introducing all new America Online 8.0. We listened to you and designed AOL 8.0 with hundreds of exciting new features.
Welcome.
Like the new online photo albums to instantly share pictures. And AOL alerts and reminders that alert you of important dates. Plus new and easier parental controls to help safeguard your kids. There are hundreds of new features to easily connect you to the people and things you care about most. New America Online 8.0. Call 1-800-4ONLINE or get a free startup disc at these locations.
Cody Banks is America's secret weapon.
Sweet.
The LA Times calls it a clever and lively action-adventure.
You can count on me.
Agent Cody Banks. Great fun for the entire family. Rated PG. Now playing.
Whoa.
There's nothing as huge as the JCPenney Huge Sale. Huge savings of 20 to 60% off. Store-busted deals from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And an extra 10% off. Saturday only. It's all inside JCPenney.
Hi, I'm Bob. And I'm Charlie. We're neighbors, and our wives figured if we couldn't grow hair in our heads, we'd work on our lawns, and look what happened. This lawn is a work of art. I use Scott Premium Grass Seed. You put anything else on there, Bob, and you'd just be wasting your time. See how thick this is? There's no weeds in that grass right there. The inferior brands have weeds, but the seed that Scott has is the purest seed you can get. Healthy, lush, green. It comes up quick. You interrupted me. The lawn is only as good as the seed you start with. Fall is beautiful. That's right. Except in your yard.
Looking for better allergy relief? Benadryl is proven better than the leading prescription allergy medicine at relieving your worst allergy symptoms, like runny nose, sneezing, itchy nose, and watery eyes. Benadryl, proven more effective.
Oh. What's the matter, Frank?
Heartburn, and my new prescription won't kick in fully till tomorrow. Oh.
The leading prescription can take up to a day or more to fully work. Zantac 75 works fast, right when you need it. Zantac, for people who hate to wait.
Buff and grind. Buff and grind. Unlike some manufacturers, at Nissan, we micro-finish our camshaft. Less friction means more power. It's just one reason why the engine in the Nissan Altima really shines.
Can I get a witness?
The 2003 Nissan Altima. Nicely equipped with 0.9 financing at your Nissan dealers now. Brilliant.
The backyard has a fence. The playground has a fence. The ball field has a fence. Beyond the fences, new worlds are waiting.
Discover the world of towable RVs from Oregon's largest selection at Curtis Trailers in Portland, with locations east side and west side.
Toyota, get the feeling.
This is a News Channel 8 update.
Good morning, everyone. It's 8:26, 47 degrees here in downtown Portland. I'm Brenda Braxton along with James Ray. Portland's former police chief will fight in the Persian Gulf. The Washington, D.C. Air Guard activated Charles Moose yesterday. The Montgomery County, Maryland police chief is a major in the Guard and serves as a military police officer. This morning, Chief Moose is waiting for further orders at Andrews Air Force Base. In other local news, Christian Longo returns to court on Monday. The murder suspect fought back tears yesterday when prosecutors displayed autopsy photos of his wife and 3 children. The medical examiner revealed all 4 victims were likely dumped along the Oregon coast at roughly the same time. And Oregon's governor is back in Salem this morning after a trip to China. Ted Kulingoski went there to promote the sale of grass seed from Oregon. He says the trip could be a big boost for Oregon agriculture. Now here's Bill Diaz with a look at our Friday commute.
Brenda, good morning. Thank you very much. We still have some slowing inbound on I-84, the Banfield, from about the Providence Medical Center down to I-5. We also have late slowing on I-5 southbound where it's been very heavily raining. Slow traffic from about 4th Plain down across Interstate Bridge and stop and go all the way through Delta Park. Sunset Highway westbound is starting to thin out, but inbound is still slow as you move past Highway 217 toward the top of the hill. Live from the ODOT Traffic Command Center, I'm Bill Diaz with a forecast. Here's Dave Slesky.
Bill, thanks. Folks, we're going to have rain all day long today. Look at live first alert Doppler 8000, just all lit up right now with light and moderate and even some heavy rain across the metropolitan area. Let's zoom on in, go to street level mode. You can see we're picking up some lighter rain now on the west side of the city. Here, the West Hills and KGW. There's the zoo. On the east side, we're going to still see moderate rain falling for the remainder of the morning and in towards the afternoon hours. Currently outside in Portland with rain coming down, it's now 47 degrees. Winds out of the south. We've had 0.11 of an inch of rain. That since midnight. Rain in the forecast today and our high 56. Brenda and James, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Dave. That's our report for now, but we'll be back with another local update in about 25 minutes. Have a good morning.
Baby. Bringing Down the House is the #1 movie 2 weeks in a row.
Shazam.
Steve Martin.
Hey, yo, what's the dealio?
Queen Latifah.
You got me straight tripping, boo.
Bringing Down the House. Rated PG-13, but now playing.
Everything is now at least 20 to 50% off.
at the Emporium going out of business sale. Plus, for 3 days only, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, take an extra 10% off your entire purchase. That's an extra 10% off already low discounted prices. Find new price reduction. Get 30% off the entire stock of men's, women's, and children's active, casual, and dress shoes. 30% off all Missy, Petite, and plus-size sportswear separates from Relativity. Get total liquidation savings on everything at the Emporium going out of business sale today.
It's a great time to come to work. We're busy with wind power, fuel cells, and biogas. Ideas that were once just an environmental pipe dream, they're a reality now. Just think, you can toast a piece of rye bread in Portland with wind blowing out in eastern Oregon. And if it's really windy, you might even burn it. Just kidding. A little engineer's joke.
Renewable power options. Enroll at portlandgeneral.com.
Tonight on Jay, Oscar nominee Nicole Kidman, plus Dame Edna, Shania Twain, and Angela's big send-off. Then on Conan, Patrick Stewart and John Leguizamo tonight.
We are back at 11:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 out on the West Coast on this Friday morning, the 21st day of March 2003, 7:30 Baghdad time, 7:30 in the evening. The skies at the moment remain calm. Of course, the people of Baghdad probably indoors by now, hunkered down, because over the last couple of nights they have seen surgical airstrikes in that city, and I'm sure they are preparing for more of the same tonight in the Iraqi capital. The Pentagon, by the way, saying that the next 24 hours will be critical in Operation Iraqi Freedom. Not exactly sure what they have planned, but clearly they have a lot planned. I'm Matt Lauer in Doha, Qatar, on this Friday evening. Katie's back in New York. Katie, good evening again to you.
Matt, good evening to you. And as you know, U.S. troops continue to roll north through southern Iraq as they have been all day long. But in the western part of the country, other U.S. troops have secured 2 key airfields, and U.S. warplanes struck Republican Guard units in the northern city of Kirkuk. Military sources say U.S. Marines have also taken most of the southern port of Qasr. We'll have more from our correspondents around the Persian Gulf in a moment. But first, a check of the weather from Mr. Roker. Good morning again.
Good morning, Katie. Good to see you. Let's take a look, show you what's going on as far as our weather's concerned. For today, strong storm moved through the northeast. It's up into New England now. More wet weather moving into the Pacific Northwest, and heavy thunderstorms will be moving into parts of western Texas later today. Severe storms also along the southeastern Atlantic coast. Plenty of sunshine through the southwest with windy conditions, and as we said, gale force winds and rain along the Pacific Northwest. That's what's going on around the country. Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Good morning. On this Friday, traffic moving pretty nicely this morning up to the terminal at PDX, but as you can also see, roads and runways are wet this morning and will stay that way. Look at our satellite and radar loop as this band of clouds and moisture, another Pacific cold front tracking in towards the northwest, and that will keep things quite damp for at least the next 24 to 36 hours, and snow up in the Cascades. Forecast today here in Portland, rain, south winds, and a high today of 56 degrees.
Weapons like smart bombs have changed the way wars are fought, but technology cannot change the weather. It remains one of the major obstacles our troops face. As a result, the military complies and crunches an amazing amount of data at its weather centers. Captain Christopher Gunderson, the commanding officer at the Fleet Numerical Center in Monterey, California, is in charge there. Captain Gunderson, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Captain Gunderson, first of all, what is your responsibility there as far as the weather gathering and then disseminating it to the troops? How do you do that?
Well, we collect information from various sources. Of course, the satellites are out there collecting data. We take surface observations and we launch weather balloons all over the world. We collect all that data continuously. We assimilate it in our supercomputer suite here in Monterey, and we feed the giant supercomputers that provide the basic, we say numerical guidance, the computer-generated guidance that the forecasters in the field with their specific applications take and mold to their own applications.
Now, one of the things we've been hearing about a lot are sandstorms there, unlike when we have to deal with snowstorms, rainstorms. What kind of problems does this kind of weather cause to the troops there?
Well, the sandstorms, of course, they make the troops uncomfortable. Obviously, the sand gets into the food, into the tents, and it makes life generally miserable, but it causes greater havoc on, some of the weapon selection choices. Obviously, if you
hope to use a laser-guided munition of some sort and the target is obscured by a sandstorm, you won't be able to use that munition. So it's very important that we keep on top of that, and we let the folks who are making the weapon selections know that on this particular day, maybe you'll need to use a satellite-guided bomb, which is a little more expensive, but definitely worth loading that one up this time around.
What's the biggest challenge for you as a forecaster for that part of the world, that region of the world?
Well, I guess the biggest challenges for forecasters anywhere are the very specific local effects. I mean, you know, the National Weather Service forecasters in the United States have the benefit of living in the region that they're forecasting for years and years and years, and they know all the little tricks of the trade. For us, we deploy, you know, on a moment's notice anywhere, and although we've been operating in this part of the world for years, the very specific targets and locations change, and, you know, acquiring that local knowledge sort of on the fly is, I guess, the biggest challenge.
You know, as a forecaster for television, if we blow a forecast, somebody's picnic maybe is rained out, something like this. For you, your forecast, I mean, lives depend on your forecast. How much pressure, extra pressure, is that for you as a forecaster?
Well, extra pressure, I don't know. I mean, I'm picturing times when I've been called to stand beside the commanding officer of an aircraft carrier, and he's asking me about the status of the thunderstorm that's on top of the deck, and he said, what's up with this, weatherman? What can you do about that? I feel an awful lot of pressure, but additional pressure, I don't think so. I mean, this is the nature of our beast. As you said, you know, when the TV weatherman says scattered rain showers, the issue is whether or not you'd carry an umbrella. With us, you know, in this particular war, maybe it's, if we get it wrong, maybe the ordnance loadout on that aircraft is going to be jettisoned because they're unable to take those bombs aboard the aircraft carrier again. So high stakes, but, you know, pretty much business as usual.
All right, well, good luck with the forecast, Captain Christopher Gunderson. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All righty. And we'll have more, but first, this is Today on NBC.
How does new K9 Advancing stack up against Frontline? To find out, we put 2 users to the test. Fleas didn't bother them. Ticks didn't scare them. But how about mosquitoes? K9 Advantix, the monthly flea control that repels and kills ticks and mosquitoes. Ask your vet for the triple protection of new K9 Advantix.
You understand this is one of the biggest decisions of my life. And I want to think about it.
I understand. You don't have to decide right away.
I know I'm ready. I want to be sure.
Maybe you need a little more time.
Yes.
Well, let's get back out there. We have a lot of cars to choose from.
At Russ Auto Group, we've got thousands of cars, and we'll take you to every one of them. That's the Russ way.
Oh, jeez, you startled me. What are you doing in there?
Sorry, Russ. Just cleaning the freezer.
Great.
Hagen Law number 5. Sparkling clean is better than merely clean. At Hagen, you'll find quality products, great value, and really clean stores.
Peas, please. Thank you.
Ooh, those would be great to grill. Hope it's a nice weekend.
Well, there's a trough of low pressure churning away over us. There's a bubble of high pressure moving in from the north. It'll push down and replace the low. This barometric change should bring about sunny skies and cooler temps. Steak or chicken?
You ever wonder how they know that stuff? Now there's an easy way to be an expert on local news.
You're looking at a live shot at the skies over Baghdad, where it is 8 hours ahead of us. So obviously it is 7:38 p.m. And for the past couple of nights, of course, the skies have ignited with bombs. We'll see what happens in the next few hours. Meanwhile, cities nationwide have stepped up their security here at home now that the war with Iraq is underway. This is authorities' hunt for a man they fear could be plotting future terror attacks against the United States. NBC's Pete Williams has more on the story. Pete, good morning.
Katie, good morning to you. The FBI is in fact asking the nation's police to help find a man who's believed to be a top al-Qaeda operative They don't know where he is this morning. He could be in the U.S.
FBI agents searched this house in Miramar, Florida, the last known U.S. address of Adnan G.L. Shukri Juma, 27 years old, around 5.5 feet tall. He speaks fluent English, is asthmatic, and uses an inhaler. Investigators believe he's another Mohammed Atta, the key member of the cell that carried out the 9/11 attacks. Investigators have been told that Shukri Juma is a pilot, too, though they haven't verified that. At the Florida house, they interviewed his parents. His family says he's no terrorist and lives in Morocco with his wife. But investigators say captured al-Qaeda members have identified him as someone who would be central to planning further terror attacks against Americans, here or overseas. Meantime, security is stepped up nationwide in response to the war in Iraq. Fans attending an NCAA basketball tournament in Boston were searched. In Arizona, extra precautions at the big Palo Verde nuclear power plant in response to a specific threat.
Even though security at Palo Verde has been at a very high state of alert since September 11th, 2001, it is at a much higher level now.
Officials say that threat now appears to be less credible than first appeared. And in Washington, Congress suspended walk-in tours of the U.S. Capitol building. Visitors will need to be part of a tour group now or have a ticket from a member of Congress to get in.
And nationwide, police are increasing their patrols of public transportation, now checking bridges and tunnels much more aggressively and sending thousands of officers and National Guardsmen out to ride very visibly on trains and subways, Katie.
All right, Pete Williams in Washington. Pete, thank you very much. NBC News analyst Steve Emerson is a terrorist expert. Steve, good morning. What can you tell us about this Adnan al-Shukri Juma?
Well, authorities obviously, as Pete reported, don't know where he is. They consider him somebody who is potentially very dangerous. As you noted before, potentially a Mohammed Atta, pilot training. He swore allegiance to Osama bin Laden. He got instruction in Afghanistan and Pakistan and in Saudi Arabia. Very radical. And the question is, where is he? He has been known to travel between the United Kingdom, United States, Trinidad, and Morocco.
How are authorities getting information about this individual from other people, detainees, and with suspected al-Qaeda ties?
Exactly. The information about Shukri Jama came from detainees who pinpointed him, and together with other documents they received from flight training schools in the United States, they were able to make a pinpoint identification. A month and a half ago, they actually issued an alert for an alias of Shukri Jama, not knowing what his real name was. They finally ID'd him in the last 4 days.
Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, is he giving information about this individual, or is he giving at least a lot of information that could be helpful in tracking other terrorists and other al-Qaeda cells in this country?
I tell you, the more I hear about Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the more I'm reminded of the John Lovitz character on Saturday Night Live, The Liar. A lot of things are being attributed to him, and he's claiming to be the author of a lot of information. Some law enforcement people said there's a lot of fact and fiction, and separating what's real from what's not real is proving very difficult. However, they're following up on every single lead, every single piece of information they're trying to confirm.
And I know that they've issued sort of a worldwide alert, if you will. How is law enforcement working in a coordinated effort with certain agencies throughout the world?
First of all, the extraordinary cooperation in the United States is unprecedented. I mean, between law enforcement on the local, state, federal level, between different federal agencies. I've never seen it before. And in terms of international cooperation, every single major national security agency of other foreign countries and our other allies are working hand in hand. And information is moving instantly in terms of IDing people, trying to round them up. I suspect we're going to find Shukri Jama in the next several days because of what the FBI did yesterday in terms of putting out this notice.
And the fact that they do have a name and a photograph, that obviously is going to be incredibly helpful. It's not as if it's some mystery man lurking out there.
No, this is the FBI version of America's Most Wanted. They're going to be doing some incredible discoveries now, and they actually posted someone today, a woman from Boston, who they want to find where she is because of her potential radical ties to al-Qaeda or other radical groups.
And finally, do you know anything about this ricin that was found in a Paris train station yesterday?
Well, I'd seen the reports, and then I saw another report, and I don't have any inside information. They're saying it was found in non-lethal quantities. Again, very, very alarming and potentially linked to the ricin that was found in Britain about a month and a half ago.
All right, Steve Emerson. Steve, nice to see you. Thanks so much. And we'll be back with much more from New York and Qatar in a moment. But first, this is Today on NBC.
I think the spirit of service comes from the people, from the heart of the people who work for Quest.
Quest people are committed to being there, proudly doing whatever it takes to serve their customers.
The spirit of service is ingrained in everything I do.
That's our goal. That's what we do.
If there's anything I can do for the customer above and beyond, I'll do it.
To make our communities a little stronger, volunteering at Habitat for Humanity, donating blood, and encouraging people with special needs.
There's always something you can do. There's always something you can do.
Nos complace poder ayudarles.
And serving our country, taking our commitment to the spirit of service one step further.
Commitment and loyalty, it carries across whether you're in uniform or out.
We're reservists and Quest employees.
So you're always helping somebody, and that's the nature of, I guess, who I am and what I do.
It makes me very proud to work with people like that. Whatever it takes for us to do it, we're there.
The spirit of service, there for you.
Providence Health System's Wellness Watch on fighting cancer with world-class research and state-of-the-art care.
At Providence Cancer Center, we can offer patients the latest treatment technology. We also participate in numerous national research efforts, as well as having our own hospital-based program.
Will a cancer vaccine be available someday? That's one of the remarkable areas of study at Providence's Franz Cancer Research Center.
This is an incredibly exciting time to be doing cancer research with all the breakthroughs in the field. Our success is that we've identified how to very effectively turn on the immune system that will fight cancer. I really am very excited about what this research holds for patients with cancer.
I was treated for breast cancer here at Providence, and from my post-operative care through all of my treatment, I had access to a wide range of services and counseling, and it felt great to know that one of the best places to get cancer treatment is right here at home.
To learn how you can support ongoing research at Providence Cancer Center, please call our resource line or visit providence.org/cancer.
Welcome back to Doha, Qatar, in the Persian Gulf. We want to take a moment to look at the world reaction to the launch of the U.S. attack against Iraq. Republican pollster Frank Luntz, who's also an NBC and MSNBC contributor, headed to France, which, as you know, led the charge against military action in Iraq, and he sat down with a dozen Parisians, and he joins us now. Frank, good morning to you.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. You know, we were not much more than a mile from behind me. The protests today have already 20,000 French men and women have been protesting. But what we saw last night was a little bit different. While the hostility towards the war is absolutely existent among the vast majority of French people, they want it known and they want it clear that their hostility is directed more towards President Bush and the war than it is towards the average American. But let's let them tell their own story.
In the United States, there is very clear anti-French opinion from a lot of average citizens. But in France, there's also some pretty clear anti-American opinion. Give me a word or phrase to describe how you feel towards America right now.
My problem is not for American people, but for the Bush administration. And we are really surprised because this way is very different from the tradition of democracy in this country.
A word or phrase to describe how you feel towards America right now.
I have no reason to have any anti-American feeling, really no reason. But I feel irritated and depressed by Mr. Bush's policy.
You're telling me that America now and Mr. Bush are synonymous?
No, not for me at least. I feel France is an ally of the United States and I'm happy about it. But at the same time, I think the Bush administration and its policy is a wrong policy. And this doesn't get into a contradiction.
Your reaction to President Bush?
I feel that he's not America either. He's doing his job, what he thinks is best.
And for you, that's positive?
What he's doing, or the fact that he's doing his best?
You tell me.
I think he had enough time to think. He didn't react when it was really difficult after September 11th. He waited.
President Bush will show as a very poor president.
If other countries do what America do today, tomorrow the world will be destroyed. There is international law, rules, you must respect them.
And Bush does not?
No, it doesn't. This is the American war. This is not the war of the world against the dictator of Iraq. That is the American war.
You're nodding your head no.
No, I think there is a great, I beg your pardon, great hypocrisy in the French politics.
I am not
sure that the Americans know what is at stake, neither the French. What are the reasons of this war? I agree with George Bush when he said we have an evil axis. But I disagree with his order. He should have started with Iran. Let me put that very openly to the American public opinion. Iraq is a threat, fine, but it's not an imminent threat. Saddam Hussein is not the man who is representing all evil. Iran has a relationship with Al-Qaeda networks. Iran has the nuclear. Who is the biggest danger? Make a choice. It's probably less courageous to attack Iraq than Iran. And this is a problem. And American public opinion and French public opinion should know about that.
And they're about to know about that. We have this clear difference of opinion between the evaluation of America and the evaluation of President Bush's policy.
Interesting, Frank, that one guy said we should have attacked Iran instead of Iraq. Let me ask you, was this a pretty good cross-section of people in Paris?
It's amazing because half those people had actually participated in a demonstration within the past month, and yet they wanted to make it clear that while they were still, that they felt themselves representative of the people, they wanted to make it clear that Americans should not hate the French because of what the French have done in terms of the war, that there was still this special relationship that the French people feel towards the American people.
Did they understand, though, why some people do feel that they've been betrayed? Some Americans feel that they have been betrayed by the French?
Yes, and they wanted to make it clear that that was coming more from their government, that there's this hostility between President Bush and Chirac, but that hostility should not be then brought down to the public, that there's still a relationship and there's still a special bond between the French people and the American people.
Frank, now that the hostilities have indeed begun, do the people, or did the people you talked to, hope that the U.S. is successful in its effort?
Yes, they're hoping that there are very few casualties. They want the war over as fast as it possibly can be. And there is no love lost for Saddam Hussein. Every one of those 12 people believe that Saddam is a true threat. Their only challenge to the Americans is there any other way to do this? But since the war has begun, they want it done quickly.
Frank Luntz, as you can see, coming to us from just in front of the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. Frank, thank you very much. And we're back with much more of a special edition of Today. This is Today on NBC.
So sexy, it'll make you want to cheat on your sofa. The Camilla Shaves from Lazy Boy. The new look of comfort.
Sometimes the little things make all the difference. This isn't one of those times. The factory authorized truckload sale at Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. Hurry before it comes to a halt.
Remind you of your checking account this week? Call Check and Go to beef it up. We'll give you the money you need today and hold your check until repayment is due. Check and Go. We can help. So if this reminds you of your checking account this week, call Check and Go. We'll give you the money you need today and hold your check until repayment is due. Check and Go. We can help.
Now during the National Caravan event, get the best values in America from Dodge. Take our best products like Dodge Caravan, the best-selling minivan ever, with available power sliding doors and power rear hatch. Plus our best warranty, Dodge's fully transferable 770 powertrain limited warranty. Plus our best deals, like up to a $3,500 cash allowance. Or 0% financing for 60 months. Add it all up, it equals the best values in America. See your Dodge dealer or visit Dodge.com.
Katie, it's about 7:52 p.m. here in the Persian Gulf region. The skies over Baghdad, as we've said, remain calm at this hour. The people in that city have endured 2 nights of surgical airstrikes, and they have no idea what could come tonight. We've reported all show long that several B-52s armed left a British air base a little earlier today, and we don't know where they're headed, except we have been told they are headed into theater. And we can only have some idea that it will be a very busy night here in the Iraq area tonight, Katie.
And Matt, as you know, stealth fighters have been dropped making surgical strikes over Baghdad the last 2 nights. There have been Tomahawk cruise missiles fired from Navy vessels in the Persian Gulf, the Mediterranean, and the Red Sea, and as you mentioned, the B-52s. But miraculously, Matt, it seems as if the people in Baghdad, the life of the average Iraqi has not been disrupted as much as it might be. Electricity is still on, water is still running, and clearly the U.S. military is trying its hardest to preserve Baghdad's infrastructure. So during the post-Saddam era, if you will, many of these buildings and services will remain largely intact.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with reconstruction. Also, some of it has to do with their message that this action is not against the people of Iraq. They don't want to bring any undue suffering to the people living in Baghdad. This is against the Iraqi regime change, and of course, the members of the Iraqi military. But as you just said, they're trying to spare some of the infrastructure, and hopefully they won't have to go to great lengths to restore that and repair that when this military action is over, Katie.
Are the people in CENTCOM happy with the way, or at least satisfied with the way the war is progressing so far?
Can I be honest with you, Katie? It's been difficult to get any word from the people at CENTCOM, so I can't really answer that question.
All right, we'll have much more of NBC special coverage in just a moment.
With America at war, here's why you should turn to NBC News. World Reacts. Find out what the rest of the world thinks. Our Town. Personal stories from inside one community. And the experts. In-depth analysis from the people who've been there before. From the home front to the front lines. Count on the people of NBC.
It seems like an eternity. 18 months. Over 13,000 hours until September 2004, when you first pay for the beautiful Wix furniture you buy today. Put just 10% down. Make no payments. Pay no interest until September 2004. You buy today. Get delivery right away. Take 18 months to pay. No interest accrues until September 2004. Only at Wix Furniture.
If we can't beat any price on any comparable mattress, then the mattress is free.
This is a News Channel 8 update.
Good morning, everyone. It's 8:56, currently 47 degrees here in the Rose City. I'm Brenda Braxton along with James Ray. All of Portland's streets and bridges have reopened now, but it took until 2 a.m. for police to clear the protesters out. Police fired loud concussion rounds, then marched forward, spraying people in the face with pepper spray to clear the intersection of 2nd and Burnside. They carted away demonstrators who refused to move over a period of about 3 hours. 43 of them spent the night in jail. Most face disorderly conduct charges. Protesters tied up traffic and kept police busy in Seattle as well. More than 1,000 protesters blocked traffic by lying down on city streets, some covered in fake blood. And hundreds of war protesters also took to the streets of downtown Eugene. People gathered on the steps of the federal building there, then marched downtown. The protest was mostly peaceful, with only a few moments of tension between the protesters and police officers. It's the last day of the work week and the first full day of spring. Dave Selesky is here to tell us what we can expect. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning to you, Brenda. And we're going to have a full day of rain across the area. Take a look at our jet stream map and watch this system just being pushed onshore by the jet stream. Now, the warm front moves on through for this morning. We'll have constant rain, but in light to moderate amounts. And then tonight, the cold front kicks in with a heavier rain and also some gusty winds as well. Now, up in the Cascades, we'll see snow. Snow advisory is issued for the Oregon Cascades for up to a half foot of snow in the next 24 hours. And by tonight, we'll put up a high wind watch along the north end of the coast. Winds there could be approaching 50 miles an hour. Our forecast today in Portland, cloudy skies and rain, and today's high near 56. Brenda, James, back to you.
Thank you, Dave. That's all for now, but we'll be back at 9:26 with another local news update. Have a good morning.
Join America's largest family during Chrysler's National Minivan event, where the best-selling minivan family meets America's best value. Get 0% financing up to 60 months on the luxurious Town and Country, or cash allowances as high as $3,500. Plus our exclusive powertrain limited warranty. It's the ultimate minivan value. No wonder there have been 10 million on the road and counting. So hurry to the National Minivan event today. Great minivans, a great warranty, and great deals all add up to the best values in America.
From war-torn Baghdad to Washington, count on Tom Brokaw to give you a clear, balanced view of what it all means. Stay with NBC Nightly News.
Martin's got limited March Madness sale. Martin's not mad, he's just a little bit angry, fighting inflation by cutting prices on our entire inventory. Savings on dining, bedroom, leather, living room, lighting, accessories, and more. Martin Scott Limited, 6100 Macadam.
Smart shoppers across America are discovering America's best. Come inside and find incredible new glasses for everyone.
Cool. I get to pick two?
Yes, everyone gets 2 pairs of glasses for just $59.95 with a free doctor's eye exam. Now, contact lens wearers can join our eye care club and get free exams for 3 years. Plus, disposable contacts just $12.49. Seeing is believing at America's best. Call 1-800-2-PAIR or go online. Hurry in soon.
Why pay thousands more when you can't tell the difference? Larson Motors in McMinnville has a tremendous selection of pre-owned vehicles, as good as new, but priced thousands less. So if you can't tell the difference, why pay the difference? Larson Motors in McMinnville. Exceed your expectations.
Access Hollywood takes you behind the scenes.
So there you have it.
Access Hollywood, we are where you need to be.
Weekdays at 1 on News Channel 8.
This is an NBC News special report. Target Iraq. Here is Tom Brokaw.
Target Iraq. It is now 8 p.m. in Baghdad, nighttime. Here's the latest on Operation Iraqi Freedom at this hour. British defense officials say a key Iraqi port city, Qasr, has been overwhelmed by U.S. Marines and is now in the hands of the United States and the United Kingdom. President Bush met this morning with congressional leaders and says, quote, "We're making progress, and the U.S.-led coalition will stay on task," as he put it, until it disarms Iraq and liberates its people. The U.S. Army 3rd Infantry is on the move in the Iraqi desert, moving north toward Baghdad. We have been watching the 2,000-vehicle convoy all night long through the eyes of NBC's David Bloom, who is traveling with the 3rd ID, as it's called. Let's go to David now, live in Iraq, where, as you can see, it is nighttime. David?
Tom, our vehicle is stopped waiting for part of the convoy to catch up, but you can see off in the distance the convoy is starting to move. You can see just the stream of white lights, the tail lights, just off into the distance. And if my photographer Craig White can just pan down here, you can see that it just stretches as far as the eye can possibly see. These are the vehicles of the 2nd Brigade of the 3rd Infantry Division. They've been moving north toward Baghdad since about 8 o'clock local time last night, and it's about 8 o'clock local time right now. So it's been about 24 hours in fits and starts that this division has been on the move. You've got tanks, you've got Bradleys, you've got other armored personnel carriers. We're in what's called an M88, which is a tank recovery vehicle, but the entire division has been moving north. Some brigades, some directions, other brigades, other directions, but the 2nd Brigade, with whom we're with right now, is moving north tonight. Tom?
David, have you encountered any resistance along the way? Have you seen any of the enemy?
We have not, Tom. This brigade here has been, since it crossed through the Iraqi lines and took out some Iraqi opposition posts or observation areas last night, has just been rolling through the deserts, working its way north toward Baghdad.
All right, David, move that camera around some more. Craig White, tell our cameraman to give us another look back and forward as well, as best he can. Give us a sense of the
Craig,
place.
Let's take a look as we see the convoy starting to move out here again. Tom, I can't tell how far you guys can see with the night vision equipment, but literally as far as the eye can see, you can see the white lights of this convoy. And then as we pan around in the other direction, you can see the convoy starting to move out, heading north. So there are thousands of vehicles here, many tanks, many Bradleys, a formidable force arrayed against the Republican Guard and the Special Republican Guard encircling Baghdad. Tom?
Thanks very much, NBC's David Bloom. That is not Interstate 405 heading for Bakersfield, ladies and gentlemen. That's the 3rd Infantry Division headed for Baghdad across the Iraqi desert, where it is now nighttime. What's in store next? Let's go to the Pentagon now. NBC, Jim Miklashevsky. Jim?
Tom, U.S. military officials tell us that despite the fact